Welcome to Agile to Agility Podcast with Milan Bajic.
Major show alert!
The very first value we wrote is individuals and interactions.
Let's take this to another level.
I'd like to welcome Aanu Gopald for her presentation today. Aanu, feel free to take it away. I'm going to give you the spotlight and pass the ball right over to you. Here you go.
Thank you. Can I share my screen?
Absolutely.
Awesome. All righty. Just ignore all the stuff on my desktop. I'm one of those that have a lot of stuff on the desktop. All right. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm excited to be here today to share with you about the masquerade behind 2D videos. And I can see a lot of masquerades here right now because there are so many faces. You know, in Africa, when you talk about masquerade, you can't see their faces, but you can see things covering them. So that is where the topic came from. So a lot of us have had many challenges getting our teams to turn on their videos, getting them to engage since COVID happened to all of us 2 years ago. And you don't know if they're even in the meeting, you don't know what is distracting them. There are kids playing at home, there are dogs, there are animals, there are so many things happening behind the scene. So today we're going to talk about different rules, different techniques, different things that you can do that can get your team to start switching on their camera, or even if they don't want to switch on their camera, get them actively engaged. And the music you just listen to is called the 60 seconds rule. Before your meeting, as a facilitator, you want to arrive 5 minutes before your meeting. I was doing a training, I didn't arrive 5 minutes, but at least I arrived a few minutes before the meeting. So start with an icebreaker, because research shows that when you get people to start talking at the beginning of meetings, they will continue to talk throughout the meeting. So you need to break the ice with them. It's your job as a facilitator to create an environment that fosters team conversation and engagement. So you can use music, you can use activities, you can use games, introduction, whatever that you want to do. Let them have small group or small conversation or small talk. You can even use the Zoom chat. When people join, introduce yourself, or when people join, just drop a prompt like, so what was the best part of your day today? Everybody, Zoom chat us up and drop something there. So this is the 60 seconds rule. What you have the power in your hand. Within the first 60 seconds of your meeting, what magic do you want to create? And I started with music. So this is a little bit about me. I'm a business transformational coach. I've worked in most of these organizations, doing all these organizations and many more not added, doing major agile transformation initiatives. And what I love to do most is the Africa Agility Foundation, which is empowering unemployed female youths with tech skills and helping them to change their narratives. So that's my passion, and that's what Agile is all about for me. So you are going to grab your phone or your iPad or desktop or laptop, whatever you have. Go to mentee.com and use the code 21836001. What's happening? I'm going to stop sharing so that I can share the code at the same time in the Zoom chat. All right, here is the code. Go to mentee.com, not Mentimeter, but mentee.com. And let me start the poll. All righty. Wrong one. Wow, wrong one. Hold on. There you go. Uh-oh, I'm seeing people entering my name. What's going on? Let me clear the post. Some people are entering my name. The intention is not to enter my name. Let me clear what is here. And where is that clear button? Don't mess me up. Okay. All right. If technology is messing me up. Oh, all right. So some people have started. I'm not going to clear it. Here is the prompt. Describe in one word, online meeting with my team is like what? Describe just in one word. Online meeting with my team is like what? Oh God, I'm sorry to hear that, blocked by my organization. Just use your phone. Use your phone to answer this. So just type in menti.com in your URL and enter the code in the Zoom chat, 218360001. So online meeting with my team is like delightful, empowering, hungry, game, silence, silent forest, interesting. It's like a cloud server. It's great, it's forced, it's like family reunion, stressful but needed, terrible, transformation. I'm seeing a lot of silence. Yeah, great is standing out. And what else is missing? Effective, challenging, one-sided, engaged, boring. Tell me about that, especially meetings that happens in the evenings. Refreshing, time-consuming, and colleague, is it collage or colleague meeting? Hungry, playful, spicy. Wow, I love spicy. Family reunion, add. Yeah, thank you so much for answering this poll. 33 people. This is really, really, really good. For everyone here, you have different perspective on what online meeting is for your team. Let me share my screen so that you can see what others have added. This is what others have added. Now I'm going to go back into my presentation. If you can see my presentation, let me know. Now, here's the next thing that we are going to do. Thank you so much for sharing what online meeting looks for you. Now it's time for us to get to know each other. Since many of us are meeting for the first time online. So welcome to Chatterfall inspired by liberating structure. I want you to stay curious, dig deep, and have fun. I'm going to start posting or asking you some questions with series of open sentences. Don't overthink your answer. Just be you, just be natural. Using chat, finish each of the open sentences with a short phrase. Do not hit the return or enter button until I ask you to do so. You can respond and type in whatever your short phrase is, but do not click the enter button until I ask you to do. So here is the first prompt. Allow me to introduce myself. I am. Who are you? So here is the first prompt. Allow me to introduce myself, and I'm going to finish this, only this by myself. I am the African queen, the girl of Ben's dream. Ben is my husband's name. So whatever who you are, introduce yourself. You can tell us your real name. You can tell us your nickname. He calls me his African queen. So that's why I added African queen. So by the time I ask you to hit the return button, everybody starts storming the chat room. So the first prompt is this. Allow me to introduce myself. I am, then finish with a short phrase. Now hit the return button. Oh, I am a leader. I am Elizabeth Kuda, beauty queen from Nigeria, the agile doctor, a newly empty nest dad. Wow. Congrats, Jeff. Yeah, so many great things. Wow, room care simply me. Wow, so many beautiful things coming up. All right, let's go to the second prompt. Oops. But 1 second. Something fun or exciting about me is what? You have like 30 seconds, finish the sentence. Oh, do not hit the return button until I ask you to do so. Well, Grace, yes, I love to hike. Something fun or exciting about me is I love hiking. Aisha, you sent yours directly to me. I love dancing. So can you hit the return button, everybody? Something fun or exciting about, oh, wow. I love new dishes, traveling, painting. I love to eat, sleep. Oh, yeah, watch movies. I love Korean and Asian movies, both cruise. Yeah, beautiful. Let's keep it coming. You love to learn. Cindy. We are all learners. Beautiful. Let's go to the next question. Something I am looking forward to learn in this session is, let me drop the question. Please do not send any response to me directly, just send it to everybody. So you need to check your chat setting. Something I am looking forward to in this session is what? Let's hit the return button, make it happen. Tips and unmasking tips, collaborate, best practice, learn, hearing about other people's experiences. Yeah, beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right, let's go to the next question. Something or someone that has put smile on my face today is who? Something or someone that has put smile on my face today is who? Oh, my baby, my wife, oh my God. Oh, Ronke, thank you. My partner, my son, my husband, my mom, my teammate, my God, my mom. It's all about family. Oh, and thanking me, learning new things in this conference, beautiful. Yeah, family, you know, animals are family for some of you as well. So family, beautiful. Now to another question. Something or someone that reliably distracts me is, what is that thing that's going to distract you from this session? Hit the return button, baby. What can we do about them? They are the boss. Baby waking up, fog, internet provider, text messages, dogs, daughter, phone, next meeting, TV, you know, kids, multitasking. Oh, it's 12:30 p.m. for you, AMH. Integration project, hunger, work, sleeping. Oh, it's 3 a.m. Mutia. Thank you for being here today. Now the next question is something I anticipate to do in the next few months is what? Start graduate course, getting a job, amen to that, you'll get that one. PSM3, travel, vacation, make impacts in your job, vacation, certification project, change your job, exercise, keep it coming, get your CSP, yay! To be a coach, socially be, Aanu, travel to Ohio, take a tour, team Stephanie, kudos to you. Wow, that's huge. One team alone is something else. Something I am procrastinating is, what have you been procrastinating about? Get my SPC, health and exercise. Tell me about that. If you are a bit lazy like me, finishing a course, investing more time, losing weight, reviewing your vehicle, you need to get your vehicle registration done, renewing, Mutia, make it happen. Gym, reading the Bible, building relationship with God, learning stuff. Wow, all right. Finance literacy, beautiful. Now I am arriving this session as who? I am arriving this session as a Lamborghini. I wish I have one. That's a dream. That's a dream. Hopefully, maybe the Agile to Agility conference organizers can get me a Lamborghini. So You are arriving today as a Ferrari, as a learner, as a fierce Black tech queen. Wow. A lot of learner and humble student, blank, most focused, but still sleepy. Thank you so much for that. Here is what you are going to do finally. You are going to grab a piece of paper, get a Sharpies, and you are going to draw it on a piece of paper, which is whatever you have entered as, I am arriving today as XYZ. Grab a paper. If you are very artistic, use your phone, anything that you have. In 1 minute, do not be over artistic. I can't draw, that's me. So whoever you are, the way you are showing up in today's session, can you please draw it on a piece of paper, use pencil, pen, Sharpies, whatever that is close to you. I'm going to give you 60 seconds to do the drawing. Oh, it's fine. If you don't know how to draw, just write it down. I can't even draw a Lamborghini. Come on. I can't even draw the tire of a car. So it's okay if you can't draw, just write it down. Draw it, be artistic about it, just be creative. You can draw it, you can write it, you can ink it, you can paint it. Just be artistic about it. 30 seconds left. "30 seconds left, almost there. If you are there, can you show us your drawing? Let's see what you came up with. Let's see how artistic you are, how creative you are. Show us your drawing. Everybody that's written something down, show us what you've drawn. Oh, wow, I'm seeing beautiful, lovely. Just keep it up, don't worry. Your hand is not going to ache. Just keep it up. We are waiting for orders. Let's see what you have drawn. Beautiful. 30 seconds left to wait for orders. Come on, guys, show us what you have drawn on your piece of paper or anything that you have. All right, at least I got some of you to turn on your camera. What did you notice? What just happened? If you have team members that doesn't turn on camera, you won't ask them to draw Lamborghini, right? You are going to ask them to draw something that is very important to them, and that will force them to switch on their camera, right? Especially for retrospective. This sprint is like if you are to use a metaphor or something, what does it look like? Everybody draw it and everybody show you. Try it tomorrow, yeah. You know, these are not your real team. You know what question to ask, what prompt to ask that will get your team to turn on their camera. So what just happened? What just happened in this space? Let's hear from 1 or 2 people. What happened?
Well, you got us comfortable playing the game, and then you had us actually do something that would prompt us to turn on our camera, right? So whether you're a good drawer or a bad drawer, you're like, oh, I want to show my drawing. I tried. And yeah, that was clever.
Thank you. So Aisha, you raise your hand. Thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate it. Aisha, you raise your hand.
Oh, yeah, I did, because I'm very amazed by this way of you facilitating. I am literally still in all of this, what you're doing. It's a very good icebreaker, and also getting us to put on the camera. I'm very amazed. Thank you for doing this. I just learned something. I'm here to learn. I just literally learned something.
Thank you, Aisha. I'm glad that you learned something. So the first rule is a 60 seconds rule, right? Your icebreaker could be 5 minutes, 3 minutes, but start with an activity or game or music or anything that will get your team members to engage. Even if they are not speaking, they are 100% fully present, even with chat or something. Now, the second rule is the road rule. Every road has a rule, and if you break the rule, you are driving and you are drunk, or there is a traffic light and you are speeding on a school zone. Oh, tell me about that. What would happen to you? When you break the rule, you get a fine. So what is one rule that every team must have? Working agreement. Every team must have a working agreement, and always remind your team of your working agreement. I've seen a lot of coaches, facilitators, scrum masters that you just walked into any meeting without saying, welcome everybody, this is the goal, and remember our rules. You know, everybody fully engaged, camera on, one conversation at a time, respect, whatever thing that it is. And when you are sending your meeting agenda beforehand, include your rules, the rules that you are picking from your team's working agreement that you're going to add in that matters for the meeting that you are going to have. So again, when you are creating your working agreement, you should build it around some information, ask questions around collaboration. How can we create a safe and engaging and an engaging space for our meeting? Let that be a question. If your team is geographically distributed, not everybody in the same room, you want to ask this question: how can we create a safe and engaging space for all our meetings? What does that look like? How do we know that the environment is safe and is engaging? What are the key ingredients? So I'm not saying ask that stack questions, but what at a time. You could also ask questions around what behavior do we want to embrace in our online meeting? And how do we know that we are demonstrating and living those behavior? So your team have said 100%, full engagement, one conversation at a time, we respect, we don't jump at each other. How do we know that respect is here? What are the things that needs to happen for us to know that we respect ourselves? How do we know that we are engaging? What are the things that we need to see to ensure that we are an engaging team? So your working agreement, some of those rules must go into some of your meetings. Now we're going to mentee.com again. That will take us to the third rule. When people enters your meeting, what role do they unconsciously step into? The same code of 2-1, let me drop the code again. Where is that code? The same code, go to mentee.com. The same code of 21836,001. Let me present the second question, which is, and I hope I got this right. Don't start. It is, you've started. Smart, intelligent people. And let me share my screen. When people enters your meeting, what role do they unconsciously step into? Are they the mover, the follower, the opposer, the observer? If you have never heard of the Cantor 4 players mode, Kantors, this guy in his research shows that there are 4 key players in every team. There is a mover, somebody that is always, moving the team forward, the first person to drop ideas, the first person to speak up. We all need movers in our team, but sometimes they are just, they don't stop talking. Then we have the followers. If, Israel says something, oh, I agree to what Israel said. Or if Israel says something, oh, Israel, I love what you said, and they may add to it. Then you have the opposer, they are the devil's advocate. Like, no, it's never going to work. No. Or they could actually be a good devil's advocate, like, no, we tried that 3 weeks ago, it never worked. This is what, come up with it. They can come up with a new idea. Then we have the observers. If you never call them out, they will never speak. How can we improve quality? And there's silence. Then until you say, Krista, what's one thing that you think we can do? And Krista is one of the most intelligent people in the room, but Krista will never speak. So please read the Cantors, Cantors 4 player modes. Oh my God, you need to read the book. Go and get the book, or just go and read it online, whichever way that you can read it. All right, thank you so much. We have 47% people saying that their team are observers in meetings. I'm going to share my screen again and we move forward. Then the next rule is called, come on, don't hang my system. The next rule is called the actor role rule. The biggest engagement threat in virtual meeting is allowing your team members to unconsciously take the role of an observer or a follower. If your intention is to get participants to engage meaningfully in meetings, workshops, training, whatever thing that you are doing, you need to create an opportunity for them to take an active role. You need to clearly define what role each person are taking. People are likely to take a back seat and answer emails or code. Developers, they're always coding if what their role is in any meeting is not clearly defined. You can ask participants to contribute. Let everybody feel that they have the ability to contribute something to the discussion. Ask questions. What jumps out at you? What interests you most in X, Y, Z, and Y? If there's a tiny little bit of step that we could take, what would that be? What would that look like? What result would we get from that? If we are to do this, what would that give us? What if you are doing, what's it called? Demo or sprint review or system demo, whatever you call it. I just wonder why facilitators never ask stakeholders question. Oh my God. As my stakeholder, you can never escape. I'm going to ask everybody, what's your favorite or your most favorite or your least favorite part of the features that we demo today? Especially when you have stakeholders that comes to meeting and like, any feedback? Any feedback? No feedback? Then tell me what you love most. What interests you the most? If there's one thing that we should improve on, what would that be? If there's something that is missing in today's demo that you would like to see in the next 2 weeks, what would that be? What would that look like? If you could change anything, what would that be? What would it be? When you set your agenda and expectation, everybody should know the role that they are playing. Rule number 4, the know where to hide rule. Small group conversation, brainstorming activities is a very powerful tool, and a lot of people don't use that. When you have introverts in your team, they may be the best developers or the best stakeholders in the world, but they are not chatterbox like me. They won't speak if you don't call them to speak. Use the power of small group conversation. Using real-time collaboration tools, like Zoom, Breakout Room, Jamboard, Miro, Mura, Google Sheets, online, whatever you have. Using simple techniques like think, write, share. Think it, ink it, share it. Everybody in 20 seconds, think of X, Y, Z, write it on a piece of paper. Everybody has written, they've thought, think of something, they've written it down, write it down, think it, ink it, put it down. So, and you can do this with online collaboration tool as well. Think it, ink it, then share. Okay, let's hear from every voices in the room. So I would like to call Christine because you are the first person on my screen. And Christine, when you are done, call the next person to go. Use training from the back of the room technique, quick share, teach back, liberation structure, impromptu networking, 1 to 4. If you don't know all these things, just go online and type in training from the back of the room. Oh my God, so many techniques there. Liberation structure, just go on their website. You will find so many techniques. They are free, but training from the back of the room has training and it is not free. So you have to, once you have created a shared collaborative space, everyone will speak up. You can define a problem that needs to be solved. Put people into small group conversation. Tell them, appoint a spokesperson that will share what your group have discussed. You have 100 people in the room, drop them into breakout room, maybe 20 breakout rooms, 5-10 minutes conversation. Let them have a spokesperson that will come back and share with the entire room. In 10 minutes, you can solve, or 20 minutes, you can solve a problem with 100 people. Use 1 to 4 hall, 1 to 4 hate hall. With 100 people in 20 minutes, you have turned 1 million ideas into one idea that everybody will align to. Power of small group conversation, hearing the voices of everybody in the room, activities or something in all those tools, Mura, Miro, everything. Then the next rule is the MVO rule. What do I call that? Minimum viable outcome. Encourage your team to determine what the minimum viable outcome of every meeting should look like that makes the meeting to be a success. For Scrum events or Agile events, we as facilitators know what the minimum viable outcome is. For sprint planning, what's the minimum viable outcome? We want to come out with a sprint goal and we want to come out with a sprint backlog. That's the goal. That's the minimum viable outcome. Right? For daily Scrum, we know what the minimum viable outcome is. Right? So in other words, select what's the least outcomes you can get from the meeting to help accomplish the meeting goal. A side benefit of this rule is that it forces the participants to engage more effectively. Because at the beginning, this is the goal. This is the outcome that we are trying to achieve. 1, 2, 3. Even if we get to 1, that's our sprint goal. We have 100 items in our sprint backlog. The world will come to an end if we don't do the top 5, right? We know you have capacity, but according to priority, these top 5 have to be done. Always define your MVO and share it at the beginning of the meeting. So your meeting agenda should clearly define what you're trying to accomplish, your MVO, and share it in advance where possible, so that it can get your team to start thinking, okay, this is what's going to happen in this meeting. This is the role I'm going to play. I'm an actor. I need to act. I'm James Bond in this meeting because this is very important to me. And when they join the meeting, remind them of the meeting goal and what needs to achieve at the end of the meeting. At the end of this meeting, we want to be able to 1, 2, 3, or 1, whatever it is. And this leads us to the next rule, which is rule number 6, the time box rule. Participants are in the virtual space and there are dozens and millions of distractions and they are tempting distractions like kids, come on. It doesn't matter what meeting I'm having and I have a baby and my baby is fine. I'm no longer in that meeting. So if you don't sustain a continual expectations of meaningful involvement, people will easily retreat and take the observer role or take the distractor or whatever role. And you will have to work harder to bring everybody back into the space where you want them to bring. So what I do in my meeting is I time box conversation. I time box conversation or items on my agenda to create a sense of urgency. Team, we have 3 minutes to finish talking about this. That helps them to take their mind away from distraction. But be very careful not to be rigid with your time boxing. You don't want to lose hold of important things that are emerging. You are not a Scrum police or a Agile police. It's all about adaptation. You want to be flexible. It seems there's golden nugget coming out of this conversation. Is it okay if we extend it for another 5 minutes? Oh, this conversation is taking us to our dreamland. Oh God, should we do another 5 minutes extension? If you don't time box and you have 5 things on the agenda, I tell you, you're only going to talk about number 1 for the next 1 hour. Rule number 6, the time zone rule. You need to know the day that the time of the day your team is very productive. Me, if you set up a meeting during sunrise, oh my God, I'm here, but I'm sleeping. You ask a question, I'm using 30 minutes to process it in my head. You can never get anything from me, anything. You want me to be productive, wait till 8 a.m. You can't get me to speak. I'm still in La La Land. I'm still sleeping, but I'm here smiling, but I'm not here with you. So especially when we have geographical distributed team, let them find a balance. Let them have a middle point. I've seen teams doing daily stand-up in the afternoon. Come on, that's the time that works for them. That's the time that works for them. I've seen people doing it in the evening. Come on, that's the time that works for them because they are in different parts of the world. The most important thing is not about what is in the Scrum Guide. Even did Scrum Guide even say that we should have it in the morning? I can't remember. Anyway, I have to go back and read it. Most important thing is it's an inspection and adaptation meeting. Why are we doing this meeting? And what value result do we want to get from it? Do this activity with your team. Ask them to what time of the day are the most productive. Let them put an icon in those times of the day and fix important meetings that you want your team to be alive. Like alive, like awake. Fix those meetings in those times. That is the best time that works for them. Obey the time zone rule. And number 7, there are so many things. I'm watching time. How many minutes do I have left? 28. Yeah, I think I still have like a few minutes left. Okay, good. Number 7 rule is, oh my God, if I know I have more time, I would have done some more activities. Number 7 rule is the motivated individuals. Agile principle number 5. Build projects around motivated individuals. Give them the environment and the support they need and trust them to get the job done. I call that leadership principle. Coach, Scrum Master, that is product manager, that is your principle. Who motivate the team? You. Who motivate the individual? You. Who create that environment for them and the support? You. Who creates a trusty environment? You. Who should be the number 1 trust fan of the team? You. Who creates the environment to enable trust within the team? You. Who create the environment for the stakeholders and the business and everybody everywhere to trust your team? You. As a coach, when I enter a system, organization, from leadership to, and I'm having a conversation with you, it could be group conversation, it could be one-on-one, you know, as much as I like to talk, I know when not to talk. I listen. I'm listening to what is motivating individuals. When I hear, I'm seeing Krista, Israel, and Christine on my screen, so I keep mentioning their name, right? When I hear Krista saying, or, you know, Israel, Krista is saying collaboration, like 5 minutes collaboration 20 times. Come on. What motivates Krista is collaboration. When I hear Israel talking about family, my daughter, my wife, what motivates him is family. And when I hear Christine talking about respect, you know, then how can I create an environment where people are not stepping on the value of Christine, which is respect? People are not stepping on the value of Israel, which is family. Because that means if Israel value family, 6 p.m. Israel needs to spend time with the family. I'm not expecting Israel to do work on weekends because family is very important to Israel. When Krista is talking about collaboration, okay, I don't want the value of Krista to be stepped upon. And of course, in Agile, it's all about collaboration, beautiful. How can I create a collaborative environment so that the motivation and anything that motivates my team? So how do you look at the collective motivation of your team and look at it as a third entity, which is the identity of your team? Collaboration, family, respect, whatever, anything that motivates. Create a third identity, third entity of your team. That's systemic coaching terminology anyway, which becomes the identity of your team. If people now ask what motivates your team, how can you create a metaphor within 6, 7 people, different things that motivate them? And how can you bring that motivational factor alive for them? You must know this. If you don't know this, when you are having normal conversation, even if it's coffee break or whatever break that you are having, start listening to their core values, to what they are saying and what they are not saying. That's powerful listening. So quickly, let's get some insights. What other ways have you motivated your team to switch on their camera or actively engage in remote meeting? Let's start dumping them in let's learn from others. I'm going to shut up right now. I have so many other ideas to share with you, but I want to hear from you. Some of you said, oh, it's like fun. It's like the vibes and everything is amazing. Share with us. What makes your online meeting like super magic, exciting, fun, interesting? all those things that you have added. Share some of your ideas with us. Yeah, I'm seeing Grace saying 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central is the most productive time. Okay, I'm not Scrum Guide. Exactly, Israel. No one is saying that you should leave any elements of Scrum. The most important thing is, how do you bring that, whatever that is written in Scrum Guide, into your organization, business, product context? I've seen some teams doing daily sprints because they want to do Scrum. And their priority changes every 2 days, 3 days. They do daily sprints and it works perfectly for them. Let your team Scrum, the Scrum Guide is like Shuhari. Let them start from following the book and the rules, and let them create a better rule than what is on Scrum Guide. 2 people created it. Come on, they are smarter people in the world, right? I'm not saying they are not smart, don't get me wrong. But you guys are very smart, even smarter than me. Stop, you are smarter than me. But when you look at your organization context and business context and your experiences from previous organization, if there's a fire in the building, only the people in the building will know how hot the fire is and how it is affecting them. The people outside cannot understand that. You are the one in the building. You know the pain and the challenges and the frustrations and all those things that your team is going through. I always tell people my rule about Agile. Here's my rule about Agile. What is the simplest solution to solve a complex problem? There are good scaling frameworks out there. So many. But I'm looking at how crazy my organization is. Safe 100% will not fit. Less 100% will not fit. Scrum at Scale 100% will not fit. Nexus 100% will not fit. But what cannot fit in? But what are the different patterns I can pick from each one of them? The easiest, smallest solution that will give me the 100% of the result I want to get to solve a complex problem. Agile is not rigid. So I recently facilitated a retrospective without using tools or sharing my screen. It encouraged the team to have their camera on. That's beautiful, Aisha. 2-day sprint, Israel, you shared that. Grace, Scrum is a guide. You follow the framework, but adapt it to work best for your team. This is exactly why it is called a guide. Yeah. And even the 2 founders will tell you it's a guide. The elements in the Scrum Guide are very, very important, like Israel said, right? You want to have clearly defined rules, those 3 rules, and every other people are stakeholders. Having a product backlog, sprint backlog, and those artifacts are very important. I don't care whatever name you call it, but you have something, right? Those events are very important. And if there are other events that is missing in the Scrum Guide, but very important. I see some people doing intake meeting because it's so important for them. I've seen some teams doing scaled backlog refinement meeting. It works for them. It is needed for their business context. All right. Any question? Anything else that you would like to share, to add? Let's hear from you. I've been talking for the last how many minutes? Or any takeaway? What's one thing that, I learned from today's session, I'm going to start using tomorrow?
Hello, Aanu.
Hello, I'm looking for who is speaking.
Yeah, Izolumide. That was a very good section. I don't mind if you can just run through those points once again, all through the point you explained on, just from the number 1 to the number 7 or so thereabout.
Oh, yeah, sure, I can do that. And the deck will be available. Is that right? The deck will be available for everybody, the presentation.
Correct.
Okay, awesome.
Yes, we're going to share the recordings too as well.
Okay, so let me quickly run through them. The 60 seconds rule, which is all about ice-breaking music, anything that will engage your team to speak at the beginning. I'm moving away from the games. The road rule, have a working agreement or rules. Number 3, the actor rules, like what role, define the roles of what each person is playing in the meeting. Actually, when you think of sprint planning, the product owner, you will share with us your sprint goal and your priority. Developers, or estimation, developers will estimate. So let everybody understand what role they are playing. The know where to hide rule creates a creative, shared, collaborative environment using tools or whatever thing that you want to use, using different techniques to get your team to engage, and most importantly, small group conversation. Rule number 5, the MV, the minimum viable outcome. What are the least accomplishments or outcomes that you want to have from a meeting? Number 4 rule is the time box rule. If you don't time box some conversation, you will never get to where you need to get to. Then the time zone rule, understand what time zone works best for your team that makes them to be more productive. Number 7 is the motivated individuals, which is the agile principle number 5. And those are the 7 rules.
Thank
So
you.
if there's no question, I'm handing over to you. Thank you so much for having me here today. And thank you for listening to my ranting, everybody. No.
Thank you so much, Anu. Very good presentation, very engaging. Everybody, please feel free to drop into the chat your takeaways. I also shared the LinkedIn link to Milan's post online. So feel free to post online through LinkedIn your takeaways. Very well done, Anu. And again, thank you to everybody else that presented today. Jimmy, Sarab, Chris, very engaging. And just by seeing a lot of the engagement within the chat box, everybody else really seemed to enjoy it as well. So thank you so much. Also, too, I received a couple of private messages just on networking. Please feel free to drop into the chat box your LinkedIn address, your email, and others can do so to connect that way as well. We're also going to be scheduling another Agile to Agility event for October. So more details to follow on that as well. So stay tuned. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining.